discussion. Ladies, raise your hands up if you got a question. This is an important topic that I'm addressing, cause we need to know who we are, and that's the point of this lesson. Confidence, can nobody stop you, little mama. Learning loud and let go of the drama. Accepting your beauty is unconventional, so set the standard strategy for your success.
What's it like to have your first music video out in the world, out and about?
Well, it's been 2 years now, so, but when it was crazy. Like in England, they told me they were playing it in England on some online radio stations and some in the southern states.
Was that your first radio airplay?
Yeah. So it was kind of weird because I'm like, oh my gosh, as I was saying to Felix, like, being like, this is what I'm doing, everyone look, I'm not really one to really want to shout about what I'm doing, but it was also rewarding because all the work that I put into it was paying off.
So yeah, we talked about off air how you don't like to self-promote.
I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it.
I still think you're lying.
I'm lying? Well, I mean, I know with this industry, like, you have to. People got to know what you're doing. If you want people to support you, you want people to come out to your events, you have to tell them what you're doing. And I think people can usually tell, when you're trying to just talk the talk and, or
you're not walking the walk.
No, when you're just trying to, show off yourself just because, look at me, I'm the greatest thing on earth. And when you're just letting people know, like, this is what's happening. If you want to support, if you can support, please do.
So how do you promote yourself?
How do I promote myself?
Give some advice to young singers that are inspired by Aijia Waithe.
Yes. Okay, so in order to promote yourself, I would say, be consistency is key. So, all of the social, I don't have Snapchat, but, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter if you have it, YouTube, whatnot, any social media outlet that you can use and be consistent with in posting, whether it's videos, make it a variety of videos, pictures, quotes that inspire you.
What are some quotes that inspire you?
Quotes that inspire me? Oh my gosh. Anything from the Bible, because I am a Christian, or anything probably from Maya Angelou.
What did Maya Angelou say?
Maya Angelou says, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. On the spot. Okay, I'm sorry. What Maya Angelou represents is what inspires me, but an exact quote in this moment I cannot think of, which is really bad.
What does Maya Angelou represent that is so special to you?
So Maya Angelou represents a strong woman, a woman, of strength, a woman who, overcomes, struggles, especially as an African American woman growing up in, earlier times than these. It wasn't always easy, especially within the arts, for people to receive your literature, receive what you have to say the same way as they might now. So for me, that's something really to look up to, because I can take that and all that she's fought for over the years and kind of apply that to the way that I might approach my want to inspire and change. Because now I'm not living in the age where people are so, racially. Actually, I can't say that because
that's true. I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah. Do you still find that as an African American woman, you have to struggle to be heard?
I haven't. I don't think I've reached the point where I've really gotten to see that yet. But I know that in Canada, I could say I think it's a safe place. Once I start, hopefully, if I get to go abroad, like the States, that might change. So as of right now, no.
Have you noticed that there has been a progression in racial equality since the day you were born?
Yes. Yeah.
In what ways?
In Canada? In Canada?
For you.
For
you
me.
specifically.
You know what? To be honest, I never really experienced racism as much as some other people might have. My family has been very, very supportive and has always, poured into me like the importance of or the beauty of who I am as a woman of color, as a girl of color, and I always made friends with all races, East Indian, Asian. So I never really experienced racism, but in terms of the way people might approach me, I think that the most with music, I think people just automatically assume you do R&B or soul.
Does that irk you?
It does sometimes.
So what do you say to people that say that to you?
Well, I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's conscious that they're doing it. Some people, without asking me what I like to sing or what type of music can you sing, they might automatically just be like, "Oh, so you're like a soul R&B singer, right?" It's like, I can sing that, yeah, no doubt.
That probably pisses you off.
Well, it's kind of like, well, I actually do musical theater as well. I probably don't look like someone who loves Disney and who can sing Disney, but that kind of stuff, that kind of implies like a racial stereotype, which I don't really like.
It's a form of subtle racism all the same.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. So you did musical theater.
I did.
As a young girl.
Yeah. And I went to Wexford Collegiate, and I was in the musical theater program for 4 years. And actually, that program is what inspired me to just go for the performing arts. Like, I didn't know what I had in me until I think my grade 11, grade 12 year in terms of like, I knew I loved to sing because from when I was 2, I was singing. But,
Why were you so drawn to it? To performing arts.
I felt like the stage was like my own little world, my own little bubble. And I just felt like it gave me an ability to express myself in a way that went beyond words. And, playing different characters allowed me to kind of access parts of me that I never really understood or didn't feel like I could fully show or express, but I could do it through another character and not really use the name Aijia. So...
What names did you use instead?
Well, we did Rent, so I played the role of Mimi Marquez.
Right.
And then the following year, grade 12, I did Evita, so I was Eva Perón. Yeah.
So how did you decide between music and dramatic arts?
Dramatic arts, good question. So because I knew that out of the 3, music was something I've always been interested in, and I knew that it was probably my strongest out of the 3 disciplines, which it is, I wanted to focus. So I went to Humber. One of the teachers there actually recommended Humber. That's how I knew about it. And so now that I'm done Humber, actually, I started to get back into the dramatic arts as well last year. So now, I also do some auditions for film, television, and theater and voiceover, like animations.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what have you done voiceovers for?
I've done a lot of auditions. I've landed a couple more, so they were like narrations for specific companies. But
stories?
Narrations for like the CJFE, like banquets, like corporate events type stuff, more formal stuff. But for animations, like I auditioned for Max and Ruby. I almost got that.
You almost got it.
Yeah.
What happened? Why didn't it come through?
They chose someone because they wanted a West Indian bunny, and they chose a lady that was actually from the West Indies instead.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah. But that's I guess it's fitting.
It's a start. Yeah. And I didn't even realize how much singing and voiceover work have in common, like in terms of pacing, breath control, because especially with children's animations, like your energy has to be up here all the time, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of, when I started doing radio,
Yeah.
that like, I noticed all those little things.
Yeah.
Like you have to swallow your spit.
Yep.
And pacing.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to radio hosts and then...
And being articulate with your words, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And then you pacing, like when you read a sentence, you start really, really quickly and then you slow down so that people, can take a break.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, yeah, like I've learned to really love that. Like I told my agents, like, please, like submit me for voiceover stuff. I love it.
So you put yourself out there. You have an agent?
Yeah.
How did you get in touch with...
Through actually the founder of Upright Music, Karen Jules. She's also an actress, And so
Right.
I had an interview a year ago with the agency through her recommendation.
Is it pricey?
No,
Sure.
you don't pay. You don't pay for an agent.
Oh.
Anyone who's into the performing arts, acting, if you ever have to pay for an agent, it's a red flag. Don't do it. Yeah, you have to audition. I never had to audition because of the resume that I had in my interview, but typically you gotta send in your resume and headshot first if they're interested in your look, I guess, and your
Right.
resume. Then they'll have you come in.
And they get a cut of the commission when you get paid.
Yes.
Right. How important is it to have an agent?
If you're serious about it, it is very important because there are certain things you can't submit for yourself, which is most things, and they have connections to people all over North America that you wouldn't have connections to.
Right.
Like I had an audition in New York in July that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't have an agent, right?
What was that audition for?
It was for a cruise, Norwegian Cruise Line, for
Oh.
for a music.
Why did you get in? Did you get it?
I got a call back. That's why I had to go to New York. But it's a long story, guys. I lost my passport 4 days before the audition.
Oh, no way.
I was freaking out. Like I was like, I can't go. I'm so sad. And then the morning of the audition was 5 p.m.
Right.
Morning at 10:30, I found it. It was like underneath like 20 bags. Don't ask me how. I
That's what
lost it.
happens when you're
In
a
my
girl.
house.
When you're a girl, you have too much stuff. You lose everything.
Exactly. So I in 1 hour I was on the plane. Like I booked a flight in 1 hour.
Right. And then you went and did the audition.
Yeah, but because I was trying to find the passport, my prep wasn't as, as it could have been. So
Oh, so it took away.
yeah, from my focus.
So that's why you didn't get the
Yes,
gig?
for sure.
Would you have done the cruise
Yeah.
ship gig?
Yep. I would be there now. I would be there right now
Wow.
if I got it.
How does it feel not to
It's okay.
not get it?
There's something else, I learned a lesson for sure.
Right.
Yeah, like you got to prepare anyways. But I was like, if I have no passport, I'm not going anywhere.
This is a snarky puppy song. I'm ready to live this thing called life. I'm taking it one day at a time. Won't let the bad moments change my mind. I'm freeing my dreams from deep inside. And I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm just trying to use what I got.
And some other great things like you sang for Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
How did you get in touch with?
So my friend, I have a friend who did it in 2014 when he came, and she was actually going to be in Asia at the time that he was coming, and she needed someone else. So she just texted me one day. She's like, if you're available. I'm like, what? I was at home and I jumped up on my bed. I was screaming like a 2-year-old, like I swear. It was like, yeah. So then the vocal director called me one day in my elective class, and I walked out of class. Took the call. He told us when the sound check was, and he's like, "Yeah, sent us the tracks. I practiced like nonstop for 3 weeks,
Wow.
and then the day of the show, we had to be there like 5 hours early.
Okay.
And so we went on stage with the band. Band's super chill. They're like, "Hey, what's up? Are you singing with us? Are you coming?" And then like after the sound check, oh wait, I skipped the good part. So we were doing sound check. And then from the corner of my eye, I see some people coming on stage. When I turned to my right, guess who it was? It was Stevie.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't expect, because usually when you do tours,
Right.
the artists, you don't really get in contact with them. But he came on stage and we practiced.
Did you meet Stevie?
Yeah. So
What was he
then
like?
he shook our hands and he was like, thank you so much. And apparently people who were touring with him said that they don't see him. They don't get to even talk to him. So the day of Toronto, he decided, I want to take pictures during intermission. Like random. He doesn't usually do
with
that.
people in the audience.
No, with us.
Oh, like because he goes from city to city.
Yeah, but he doesn't usually take pictures. But
Oh,
he's like, today I want to take some intermission photos. Can we do that? And I got a picture. I stood right next to him.
Wow, that's pretty great.
Yeah, it was nice.
So how was the actual performance?
It was
Singing behind Stevie.
Like absolutely amazing.
Was this scary?
No.
Not at all?
It was incredible. Like, it was 20,000 people, but you can't see them because of the lights, right?
Right.
But it was overwhelming because the size of the stage, the caliber of the musicians, the singers beside me, like, these people were some of the best in America, right? To be on the same stage with them, like, it made my whole, like, my blood was, like, cold. It was amazing.
So you were nervous?
I wasn't nervous. It was adrenaline. Like, oh my gosh, this excitement to the max. I've never experienced that type of excitement.
Which songs did you sing for Stevie?
We sang Another Star and Pastime Paradise from Songs in the Key of Life.
So you weren't intimidated at all having to sing
Nope.
with Stevie?
No.
Your voice and his voice at the same time?
No, because it was almost like a choir. Because they had
Right.
like he had his main BGVs, and then we were added into 3 songs. Because we did the end number was like this big thing, which was spontaneous. So we just had to kind of go with the flow. And then we had some dance moves, and I have to say we had to do this turn, and I forgot to turn once. And I was like, oh my gosh, everyone.
But you don't have much time to memorize all the moves. All the
No,
choreo.
we actually learned it the day of the show.
That's what I figured.
But it was fine. It was just step, touch, turn around.
Stevie couldn't see you anyway.
Wow.
You
No.
walked right into that one.
But you know what? Like,
Yeah.
so many people would never know. In the corner of those big stages, there was like 5 security guards watching you. No, they won't smile. Like, you would be dancing and you might look over at them and dance. And they're like, if you flinch, I will kill you.
Maybe they were turned on, but they couldn't show it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Aijia, I want to hear you sing something now.
Okay.
You're talking.
So, in the
yeah.
season of Christmas, what shall I sing?
It's up to you. I'm here in the studio with Aijia Waithe, and you're listening to Double Booked on CGRE 1280 AM.
Yes. So I'm going to sing Christmas song. I'm going to sing Joy to the World. Sing along with me if you know the song. Ready?
No thanks.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Yeah. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. One more time. Joy to the world. The Savior reigns. Haha, kidding me.
That was great.
Thanks.
So you also sang at the Pan Am Games, the national anthem.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
I was actually more nervous for that than I was for Stevie.
Why? Because you're singing alone.
I was singing alone, not because I was singing alone. I sing alone all the time, but I think it was because it was like, it's the Olympic, like it's part of the Olympics. It's not the Olympics, but and it's the national anthem. If you
Right.
mess up the words and half of it had to be in French, I'm not a French native speaker. It's like, you can't get the words wrong. And they only told me like an hour before.
They told you an hour before what?
They wanted the French in it.
Oh. So you learned all the French
in the
an
green
hour.
room. In the green room.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. This is how it goes, guys. You gotta be on your toes.
You got to
with
be on
this.
your toes.
Yeah.
How did they get in touch with you to sing the anthem?
Humber, hey.
Oh.
Yeah, Humber, because they had it at Humber, across the street. Yeah.
So you were nervous before. Were you nervous during when you
No.
were singing?
Never. Never for me. I'm nervous if I'm nervous at all, which is not often. It's before, and then once I open my mouth and sound comes out, I'm okay.
It's all gone.
Yeah,
So did you enjoy it singing
I
the
did.
anthem?
I really did. I just gave it my all. I gave it my all.
Is there a video of that?
With Humber, I think.
Right.
Not with me. They didn't send it to me.
Was that one of your most memorable experiences as a singer?
Yeah, the summer that year. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about what inspired you when you were growing up. You said that Maya Angelou represented a lot. Would you describe yourself as as independent and strong?
Absolutely.
And what else?
Inspired me for music or just in life?
In life.
Okay, so if I'm to be honest, so like, I don't want this to sound corny or anything, but like I grew up in church and I grew up in a church that was very musical. And so that is kind of what cultivated my love for music. And I used to stand in front of my mom's mirror. I had these 2 maracas. They were frog heads. And I would use one as my microphone.
Right.
And sing songs from my church. So that was from age 2. So I've basically been singing since then. And then my mom kind of, one day in grade 6, I heard an announcement for an auditions. I didn't even know what an audition was. Auditions for Aladdin. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds fun. I went and I got the role of Jasmine. I got the lead role. And my mom, I went home one day and I'm like, Mommy, I got the lead role. She's like, for what? I was like, for Aladdin. And she's like, oh. And so from that point on, it's like, because I didn't even ask my mom to help me. I just kind of took initiative and did it.
Right.
Is when she realized, like, okay, I think this girl's like music and arts.
Is that when you realized that you had a good voice?
Yeah. And then the night my family came, I had a cold, and A Whole New World sounded like a whole new world.
That's a great first gig story.
Yeah. But you know, it was within my school. It's a good thing it wasn't like, but it was still embarrassing.
Right. You have any other embarrassing gig stories?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Embarrassing gig stories. No. You know what? No, I've learned to just improvise, because for years I was really stiff.
Right.
And like, okay, so the next song I'm going to sing is called such and such, and this person's gonna solo. But now I'm more conversational. So even if something goes wrong on stage, either I will just call it out and just be like, "Oops, my wig fell off." Oh, speaking of, that happened. I did a wedding, and it was this big wedding, like 1,000 people.
Right.
And they wanted this like Motown feel, so I had this huge Afro wig
Oh
on.
my God, I have a story. I saw you sing. That was the very first time I saw you sing.
At the wedding?
No, with Groove Merchants.
Oh, really?
When I was at Humber, and you had a huge wig, and I was like, wow,
it was the same wig.
Great hair.
And I had a highlighter green bandana on underneath the wig at the wedding, and I had this sequins dress on. So I did like a hair flip, or I was trying to, and the hair literally flipped off my head. And I was kind of like, I used the wig as part of my act, and
please tell me there's a video of that.
Probably, but I don't. It's not out there, thank God. Yeah.
That's really funny. Is there anything else you want to promote on the show?
So I want to promote, just, you know, stay on the lookout for my name. My name is Aijia, Aijia. Hey. It's a palindrome, same backwards and forwards.
Wait. Talk about the meaning of your name.
Oh, okay. So my mom initially named me just because she liked the sound, but then I found out my name is Mandarin. So if any Mandarin speakers are listening, so AI is love or heart, right, and Jia is home or family. So Black girl with Mandarin name.
That's a first.
It's cool, for sure.
Great. Thanks for being here, Aijia.
Thanks, Felix.